Welcome to the channel. How are you doing today? This channel is just about positive mindset about money and finance. But today, this is my first video that I do in English. I have a Spanish channel where I do the same topics and subject. But today I want to speak to something that did me really deep. Happened to me really deep. My friend, which I worked for over. I met him in the 1990s. He was a successful man, very successful. When I met him, he was the owner of a car dealership in New Jersey. He had a big house, so he was a really successful man. So a few days ago, I received a phone call from him to say, "Hey, you remember me?" For my surprise, I was like, "Yes, I remember you. How you doing?" He says, "I'm visiting and in the area. Can you come and see me?" So I went over and see him. For my surprise, the address he gave me was the address of a hospital. I go in, I go to the room, I want to see my friend, and when I go in, my friend was in bed. He was in the hospital bed. So I start talking to him. I says, "What happened? What's going on? How your life has been?" So he said, "My friend, you know, when you met me, I was a successful man." I said, "Yes, I remember you being a really successful man. Everything was going well." He said, "Yes." But the reality hit me really hard when he started telling me all his story, what happens to him. He's telling me that he managed a lot of money, and that's true, that he was successful, but at the same time, he never thought about tomorrow. He said, "Yes, I have cars, I have houses, I have a business." Everything that he talked to me was in the past. And I want to go into deeper what he told me, but whatever we spoke hit me really hard to the point that I said, "You know what? This is something that I want to talk about to my audience, because the same way that you are right now, it's a lot of people probably that manage a lot of money, but you don't think about tomorrow. You don't think about, I'm going to retire. In my case, I'm about to hit in the 50s, and my retirement is in sight. You know, I'm pretty sure when you were 17, when you were 20, probably 30, you never thought about retirement. You were surviving. You were working hard to take care of yourself. You know, you think about, "Oh, I gotta go to college. I gotta go to work. I had to bring food to the table." You know, you had dreams, you had stuff that you want to do, but at the same time, do you think about tomorrow? Do you think about when you be 55, when you were 60 or even 62? You were thinking about finance at that time? Were you thinking about money at that time? Were you thinking about retirement at that time? I don't think I was. I started realizing that retirement was something that was important to me, because in the point where I was like, "Wow, yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I'm taking care of myself, taking care of my family. But what about me? What about me? What about me?" And then speaking to my friend, I realized that we just waste our time in stuff that tomorrow we don't need. You know, your expensive car that he has. He got everything that he needed, but what you have right now is what is important. You know, what you have right now is what is important, because I realized that it had to be really sad that you get old and you don't have no money. You get old, you don't have nobody to take care of you. You get old and nobody won't even call you, because the real thing is that if you don't have any money, if you don't have any savings, you're gonna be bothering everybody. Nobody wants nothing to do with you, not even your family. Even though that's not the responsibility, it's your responsibility. It's my responsibility to be able to support myself, to have a decent life. But what happened? We always think about what I need right now when you're young, and you say, "I need money right now." But what happened tomorrow? And then you start thinking that tomorrow will never come, and then you realize that, what happened? I'm already 50. I'm almost 62. What I have? What do you have on your name? What do you have that you can say, "This is mine, this is something that's going to support me when I get old," you know? And then you start thinking, what I have to do? What I have to do as a person to be able to say that I'm in a good spot. And then when you start looking at the numbers and you start looking at YouTube videos, and you start realizing that the reality is going to be really bad for a lot of people, because most of people will never use the word retire anymore. Like my friend, he told me that when he looked at his bank account, even though he managed a lot of money, he was a guy that didn't have these numbers right. And he said he only have about $750 a month that he's gonna receive in Social Security. Huh? He said he doesn't have any family members, he doesn't have anybody to support him at the time because he gets everything when he has to, but he never thought about himself. And that made me realize, you know what, I have to think about me. I have to think about myself. What I want to do with my life. What I want to do when in a few years I'm turning 60, 62, and then I don't have any money to take care of myself. What's going to happen to me? Who's going to take care of me? That's my own responsibility. This is not responsibility of my family. It's my own responsibility. And that's something that we don't don't pay attention to that. That's why I want to do this video, to tell you that is watching this video, what's your numbers, how your numbers are. Are you in the right position? Do you have anything under your name? Do you have anything that's going to support you? Do you have any money that you're going to be able to call yours? And this number that I'm putting on here in my screen, I don't know if you see, I have a bank account that I manage, and I look and I start realizing, oh my God, what am I going to be in a few years? What's going to happen to my life? And I realize that it's something that you have to start doing every month, every week. Sit down and start putting your numbers together. And just seeing what you have under your name. What's going to happen to you tomorrow when it's time for you to realize. Besides health, which is supposed to be your number one priority, the second one should be money. You say, well, my family. No. It should be health. You got to make sure that you have health, because you don't do anything retiring tomorrow, you don't have any health. Okay? You're going to be an old guy in bed, or you can't even take care of yourself because you don't take care of your health. So if you're watching this video, health has to be number one, and two, money, finance. Somebody gonna be worried, my family. Well, yes, but you've been taking care of your family your whole life. You have your wife, if you do have your wife, and you have you. But at the end of the day, kids is gonna leave. They're gonna abandon you. They're gonna leave, and they're not responsible for you. At the same way, you don't have to be responsible for them. So it's important that now that I'm doing this video, that you start thinking about yourself. The same thing that I'm doing. I came home right away that day, started looking at my numbers. It's something that I do normally. I like to see how my numbers are, how my numbers going, in my different account that I have, my different investment that I have, how I'm doing in my life, how I'm doing in my own life. You know why? Because I don't want to end up like him, saying that I don't have nothing and I have $750 in the bank. Why? You manage everybody. If you've been in this country for many years, 40 years, 30 years, the amount of years that you are in this country, like me, that immigrant from another country, and you don't have nothing to show off for yourself, shame on you if you don't have anything to show off for your name. Why? Because you have the right to start copying the numbers. That's what I did a few years ago. I started putting the numbers together. I started saying, you know what, I have to be in a different position tomorrow, because I don't want to be one of those guys that be in bed like my friend. I don't have nothing to show off for, or at least don't have anything to support me tomorrow. So I want to do this video to tell you that you have to start now. Now is the day to start saving. Now is the time to take care of yourself. Look at your numbers. Look at your Social Security. Look at your bank account. See what you can do. And start cutting expenses. If you have a car, if you have 2 or 3 cars, if you live the life that you live right now, think about tomorrow. Tomorrow will come. No matter what you do, don't be like those people that you think about today. I don't care about tomorrow. I live today. Guess what? Tomorrow is going to show up, and if you don't do anything, you're going to be a burden on your family. You're going to be a burden on society. You know, you're going to be one of those guys that are going to end up homeless, or a female that are going to end up homeless. You know why? Because you didn't take care of yourself, because you didn't do your due diligence. Start doing your due diligence. This is the time. If you're in the 20s or the 30s or even in your 40s, this is the time to start saving money. It's the time to make a cut. Live a minimum life, a minimalist life. I did a lot of cut many years ago. I cut everything. I use the necessary that I need to live, because in a few years, when it's my time to retire, I know I'm going to be a good spot. But you know what? My friend is not. And it's sad to me. You know why? Because he managed a lot of money. He was a successful man many years ago. And like you manage money too. You probably doesn't have millions, but you don't know what you have until you start putting your numbers together in a piece of paper. Do your budget. First thing you do a budget. Do a budget every week. You do your budget every week. Some people do every month. Some people do it every day. I don't care how you do it, but start doing numbers and start putting money on the side for you, for your retirement. You need it. You're important to me. You're important to yourself, especially in this nowadays when people see you or what you have. Okay? And I don't want to see you wasting your time just because of why? Because you didn't pay attention to this. So please, I want to leave you with this small message. You have to be first. You have to be first. I have to be first. Everybody else come next. You know why? Because that's how life is. I know it's hard to say, but today's society, nobody cares about you. That's why you have to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to this channel. We're gonna be doing more of this content for you guys and girls. May God bless you, and thank you for watching this Morales World.